About time I did another video, but this one's covering a topic that's been bothering me for about a month and a half, maybe about 2 months. I'll read you this post I made on Reddit. I haven't been making an argument like that. Maybe my expression is off. I started out with what should be an obvious and undeniable fact. Crime is a rejection of cultural forces. If culture had an absolute grip, then crime would never exist. The other person shifted the goalposts and brought up biases, just like you are doing now. But biases are not always culture. The thing about it is dealing with people that are politically motivated, don't even understand basic words. Originally, the word culture refers to somebody that's being cultured, to cultivate somebody morally, spiritually, aesthetically, so that when you refer to, hey, you need to get some culture, we're talking about the fine arts, music, literature, things of that nature, and it separated people that were civilized from those that were still barbarians. Now, dealing with the word culture, you're dealing with also definition drift. Now, the University of Minnesota has something called CARLA, or the Center for Advanced Research on Language Acquisition. And for their purposes, they say that it's the shared patterns of behavior that are learned through a process of socialization. Well, you're getting away from what culture is, okay, the material aspects of music and literature. You're getting away from that material and you're starting to talk about socialization. And you look at the other definition from Mr. Banks. Most social scientists today view culture as consisting primarily of symbolic, ideational, and intangible aspects of human societies. And if you read the rest of that definition, you're going to start seeing something formulate in your mind. It could be a religion. It could be an ideology. It could be a lot of different things that to interpret for you the world around you. Now, when we get back to the thread in Reddit, this poster, who the account has since been deleted, goes a step further and says, but you disagree with me because you can't see culture as being a subconscious force. I reply to that by quoting the poster and says, no, it's not a question of can't see, it clearly isn't. You are making it out to be more than what it is. And of course, I make a very snarky comment about, back in the day it used to be spirits or the devil made you do something. Now it's culture, and you are no different. Immediately this poster goes into, just answer my question. Are people always aware of all the reasons why they make decisions or not? And I'm like, I haven't really made an argument. I mean, the people that believe in rape culture, I'm going to have to ask everybody that believes in rape culture. Do you still believe in Santa Claus? Or are there monsters in your closet? Is culture like the boogeyman that sits under your bed or something at night? Is that what it is? Is that what you're going to tell me? Now here's an example of actual culture. Look at all that yellow. In one culture, yellow might be something regal. For China, for instance, this is the symbol of the yellow dragon. He's the head of the celestial bureaucracy. Now for English-speaking cultures, there's a phrase called, are you yellow? And there's another phrase about, do you have a yellow streak down your back? So that the color yellow is actually associated with a negative emotion of fear. There's a little bit of a culture for Chinese immigrants to the United States because they had thought that the color yellow was a very bright and warming and authoritative color, and they're being told it's a fearful color. Now what you were just looking at was an example of the sociological definition of culture, how a group of people have interpreted something as simple as the color yellow. And for some people, they look at this process of socialization and how a group of people expresses themselves and thinks, well, they've been determined by the culture how to react. And they do not understand that sometimes an individual can say, no, I don't agree with that. And this is what leads me into my point of the very existence of crime should disprove cultural determinism. Now, what's not seen in that dance routine is all the people who are not interested, the people who do not want to participate. They've rejected this culture. You don't see them in the video because they don't want to be a part of that. Just as Chinese as the people who are participating, but they've decided against it. And that's kind of the problem with people who believe in cultural determinism, is that they do not understand that there's a possibility that somebody could reject the culture and not want to partake in it. So when we get back to rape culture, the vast majority of societies say rape is bad. In American society, it's a crime. Matter of fact, if you get sent to an American prison, your life is going to be a living hell. All these different cultural forces are saying no, but you go ahead and you do it anyway. This is the reason why crime, its mere existence, shows that culture doesn't have as much of a grip as you think it does. You know, if cultural determinism was true, then there would be no rape whatsoever or homosexuality. Let's take that logic and apply it to something else. Following your logic, then, there would be no need for equal representation of homosexuality within video games, because the culture would have prevented that behavior. If culture was the only determining factor in somebody's biases, or was the simple boogeyman that the rape culture enthusiasts think it is, then social justice as a cause wouldn't exist. There would be no need for correcting the culture, because you wouldn't even be allowed to think that way. You're rejecting a culture yourself. Look in the mirror and see somebody rejecting cultural influences and trying to change culture in their own way. So when we get back to my Reddit thread to finish off here, my Reddit poster gets very insulting and childish and says I need to grow up. Tries to give me a list of cognitive biases, and I'm like, that's not culture. Then gives me this crap about nothing about this absolves anyone of personal responsibility. Rather, engaging with unpacking culture is a part of how to take responsibility. What an ignorant comment. It's still the idea of culture made you rape somebody. It's like, no, culture said don't rape somebody. The culture said don't be a homosexual either. But you know, guess what? People have rejected culture to be homosexual, to be other things.